Welcome everyone to MonoBlack. A deck combines two of my favorite things, zombies and black color, and this is how I come up with the idea to utilize our powerful zombie synergy but also with a more powerful mono black top end. So you see, this is maybe why Sheldred and Invoke Despair made it into the deck, because I think this top end allows us to have the possibilities against aggro, midrange and control decks. Not only Sheldred is a killer for any aggro deck, but also Invoke Despair really difficult to deal for control players. They need to have a perfect answer in form of counter spells. But let's check out the new synergies that we got also for our zombie decks, and also thanks to the meta that developed into more multicolored decks like Grixis or Esper Legends. And here we are talking, of course, about Razorlash. Jesus, I cannot pronounce the name really right. Transmogrant. I just call it Artifact Zombie because I just literally cannot pronounce this name. This is a 3/1 creature that cannot be blocked, but it has the ability to come back from the graveyard for 6 mana, or if opponent controls 4 or less land, we just pay double black to come back from the graveyard. And on top of it, it comes with an additional 1/1 counter to it, so it's a 4/2 out of the graveyard for double black. I think is amazing value, and it's a zombie that constantly re-enter the battlefield, because who needs a wolf sleeper in mono black if you have something like the champion of the parish, of course, 1 mana 1/1 that constantly grows as more zombies you are playing, as more zombies are entering the battlefield. So it's not a cast ability. A lot of people forget about it, because things, for example, like Jadar will trigger also our champion of parish to constantly getting bigger and growing faster, and this gives us possibilities also against mid-range decks where they have just difficulties to remove such a huge creature or also to effectively block it. And because we are aiming sometimes to our zombies to die, I included one Transmogrant Crown, a 2 mana artifact that says a crit creature gets +2/+0, and whenever it dies, we're gonna go draw a card. Equip, you can do it for 2 colorless or just single black mana. I think the value is here for this artifact, especially in the mid to late game, where we can start drawing cards with our zombies dying. And you know, of course, if our zombies are dying, Headless Rider will give us the value with a creature back or a creature token, a 2/2 zombie, and this way we create a white army that can go easily for lethal. But another really cute interaction, or really interesting interaction, I found this between Felstinger and our Sheldred. Who doesn't know, I made a deck out also on this sort of decks where we force our opponent to draw cards, lose 2 lives, and whenever opponent draws cards, Sheldred deals extra damage. This can lead to lethal out of nowhere, because alone this combo will bring you 6 life loss for your opponent, and usually this is enough to really finish out the game by turn 5 or 6, especially if you casted also Invoke Despair before. For the mana base, very simple, 25 lands, didn't edit anything extra. You can maybe go for a little bit some other synergies, for example with the Mirex land that produce you creature tokens to be sacrificed, or also to attach our crown to it. And of course for the sideboard, I made a small sideboard for the best of 3 players under us, or people who enjoy best of 3, and this deck is best of 1 orientated, so definitely adapt it to best of 3 before you play your first game, because there are things, for example, like Go for Throat can be easily integrated instead of Infernal Grasp, but I think if you're playing best of 3, you know how to start your first game. But let's check out Duress against control, Go for Throat against aggros or mid-range opponents, really powerful. Graph River I found really interesting zombie, because against Planeswalker, and there are some popular Esper control Planeswalker builds, Graph River is a really cool card here, not only providing a body, a 3/3 body, a good body to go against them, but also sacrificing one of our low drops or zombies that we are maybe not necessarily needing to remove a Planeswalker that is shortly before ultimating, is I think a really powerful ability. So 2 for 1 definitely here. Against mono blue and all the graveyard shenanigans, we have Unlicensed Hearse 2 times, so definitely mono blue we put in Duresses and Unlicensed Hearse, because usually we don't have something like Crown where opponent can easily interact and bounce a creature back that we want to equip, and we also don't want our opponent to have too many instant and sorceries in the graveyard. With Unlicensed Hearse, this is both really easy possible. And then of course more control tools against control players, Sorin and Vraska, to just make it really difficult for our opponent to interact with our zombies. We put in some planeswalkers that also allow us to gain card advantage, so you see maybe both of our planeswalkers draw us extra cards, so draw extra zombies. And in form of Vraska, of course, we can also target removal a creature. For example, against mono white is really good, mono white midrange, to remove their Sanctum Warden, who has Ward, and most likely really difficult to deal for us because we are not running exile spells. But here Vraska is an amazing answer, because not only are we able able to come in for 5 mana and instantly answer the Sanctum Warden, but also later on providing you with card draw is really powerful. And Proliferating plays a smaller role with our champion and of course with our Tainted Adversary. And I want to mention Tainted Adversary. This card saved me in the games really often because it's not only an amazing defensive tool, so don't get it wrong. If you are on the puller, you need to sideboard this card because you want to produce more aggression than Tainted Adversary, but against creature matchups where we are trying to survive until we get our Sheoldred or our Invoke Despair, Tainted Adversary is just an amazing answer to all these mono red and mono white decks that are currently out there. With this being said, let's go to the game, check out how our Zomblack will perform there. And here we are, going first against Bo3, and the ladder just resetted recently, so this hand looks like really good. We can refill with the Jadar and Felstinger. Tainted, as I already mentioned in the intro, great tool, especially staying defensive and staying alive. Just provides you the time that you really need against aggro decks to get to your top end, to get to your Sheoldreds, to get to your Invoke Despairs, where we taking over the game. But we can also go really aggressive. I forgot maybe to mention it in the intro that I had sometimes games where I won on turn 5 because my zombies just come so fast and come so hard that opponent has really difficulties to answer them. If you have something like turn 1 Champion of Perish, turn 2 this Artifact Zombie Transmogrant, I still cannot pronounce it. I think this is alone a really good tool. So opponent here with MonoBlack most likely too, and it looks like my opponent had difficulties with the mana. Or why do you play Takuma first? Is there a reason to playing Takuma first? Usually you always save it until the last chance, right? Like until you need to make the land drop. Cut down, okay, this is why Tainted didn't hit the board, but he will still hit the board. But Felsinger first gonna draw some cards. And this will provide us some value. We can also Lily it. And this speaks for Lily, because I wanna play Champion of Perish by following one of my zombies, most likely Felstinger. This is why I think Felstinger gonna stay here, and we gonna go and drop the Lily. And minus on the Evolve Sleeper, so Evolve Sleeper don't get out of hands and my opponent don't play too many creatures. So we can still handle things like Sheoldred, for example, because next turn we can draw some cards, see what we draw, and then discard how we really need to discard. So we're gonna play now Champion of Perish. Really common play, by the way. Champion of Perish into Felstinger, into drawing cards. A really, let's say, not rare occasion that we are playing like this. And here in this case, do I need a land? I think I need a land, right? I think I need a land. So let's see, my opponent with another underdog, so theoretically he can now double attack Lily. I'm not gonna block now, because I wanna have the payoff of Thraben on the board for zombies dying, right? So my opponent go for Throat. Goes after Lily. I mean, if he plays Sheoldred next turn, Lily is already an answer for it, so it prevents him from playing Sheoldred at least. So let's do that. Let's prevent him from playing Sheoldred. Okay, 5th mana. Playing my Thraben, and we don't need 6 mana, so we can plus our Lily again and see what my opponent's gonna discard. Next turn, of course, our Tainted with plus on it, so my opponent cannot easily hit it, and Thraben provides value by dying himself too, don't forget about it. So opponents kill it now, we can easily check what is on top there. Another zombie, we reveal it, of course. You see, so they replace almost themselves. Amazing play, I will believe. And this one I want to keep. And the turn. Let's see what my opponent has on turn 4, if he has Shirley or he gonna... Oh, he has Lily. Okay, Lily is not a biggie. Lily is definitely not a biggie.
Home, and I don't appreciate it when people touch my things.
We've sacrificed a smaller champion, and looks like my opponent has nothing else. So, I'm gonna play Tainted, because I think my opponent also runs something like Invoke Despair. I could force my opponent to do something against it, Next, let's kill Lily, right? We don't want to have too much Lilies here on the board. My zombie Lily, by the way, Liliana, who doesn't know, she has an affinity, let's say, or how does it call? She is a zombie stuff, like, right? Like, she is there for zombies. At least I learned the game this way. Jesus, I draw so many good cards. I don't even know what I should do the best. But Thraben will ensure that whenever... let's attack like this, because if my opponent gonna Invoke Despair, at least I can sacrifice the zombie token. Let's see, reveal. Opponent's 2 cards. I mean, he gonna Invoke Despair me next turn, right? Most likely. Most likely he gonna Invoke Despair me. Because then sacrifice here, sacrifice Lily, but then I go for lethal, I believe. There is not much my opponent can do against it. On the other things, what will speak for playing the champion right here is if my opponent gonna flash in the underdog. But I think we took over this game against this MonoBlack, and you see how Zombie Black is beating MonoBlack. It's not the first game against MonoBlack. I played many games also where opponent drops a Shieldred and stuff, and we just hit too hard. Often also with Death Touch, right? The Felstinger, for example, has Death Touch, Tainted has Death Touch, where we get extra value if our creature dies, and if opponent wants to trade with Shieldred, they can trade, and we get the value out of it. But often it comes down really who is... Let's say who is drawing the first invoke, although here my opponent, even if he draws an invoke, it's too late for him. He cannot play Shieldred right now, because Lily will take a short process of it. So the best play, I think, for my opponent is to build up a defense. If he has some defense, like maybe other underdogs, other sleepers, right here. Sleepers. So build up a defense and try to survive until he draw extra value. But this was really difficult here, right? To build up the defense. Because Bankbuster, I mean, I don't know if Bo3 is toxic against my zombies. But he's roping me. Definitely roping me. So it's really difficult. Champion of Perish, you see how powerful this card is. It's suddenly a 5/5 better than Involved Sleeper. I don't need to invest any mana into it. Yes, we are missing out on the Death Touch. Yes, we are missing out maybe on life loss and card draw. But we don't invest any mana to produce damage and to produce aggression. And this is, I think, where this deck really shines. We have this early aggression of zombies with the late game of MonoBlack is just sugar in this sort of matches. And yeah, looks like Bo3 had enough. Doesn't matter. We're just gonna attack phase. It's already automated that I play the land and do my things. Yeah, Bo3 is not happy with... should we give him You Worry Too Much? You Worry Too Much? No? Let's give him a You Worry Too Much. Because you cannot tell me that you suddenly draw cards, interact with everything, and then you fly out. And don't come back in all this time. So yeah, most likely my opponent tries to climb maybe fast. As I said, the rank just reset all the people from Diamond are not in Gold, like me. And they're trying to get back as soon as possible with MonoBlack, Mono-Red. This is what I encounter the most, MonoBlack, Mono-Red. And some Mono-White shenanigans. But this is how it can go. Bo3 didn't want to play against us, so let's go next. Let's see if we can find an opponent at once. And here we are, against Ajibus, with a decent opening hand. Champion, Felstinger, Headless, into Invoke Despair is, I think, a good hand on the draw we have here. And you see Mono-White again. As I mentioned in the previous game, sure, that is a good draw. As I mentioned in the previous game, many... Okay, keep the cut down open. Let's see, my opponent has lie down arms or something like this. Or Ossification, maybe. Oh no, it's a Boros opponent. Okay, a token will die, don't worry about that. The token is definitely a dead man walking. And for next turn, Headless Rider, because I suspect my opponent may be running something like Depopulate. And Headless Rider will create me the tokens that can draw me extra cards with Felsinger. But we're gonna try maybe to kill my opponent with card draw. So if you draw a land... Let me see. Another Fable. We draw a land, we play Shieldred. We don't draw a land... This is what I mean. If we don't draw a land, then we don't play Shieldred. Are you a reanimation deck? Yeah. He's a reanimation deck, my friends. Okay. I think we gotta go fast here, right? Before my opponent runs away with the game, we gotta go fast. Like super fast. We gotta go fast. So, give me the land and I'm happy. Because I want to play Shieldred into Felsinger to kill my opponent with a combo. I'm certain we can hit it also next turn. The combo, I mean. And my opponent has already enough mana to reanimate something, right? So if he has Invoke, most likely has, he checks his graveyard. And here he goes. Yeah. Just too good, huh? Like imagine that hitting that portal to Phyrexia through again no land. Wow, which game? I really want my land. I really want my land. I would say let's attack. And killed him with a Felstinger. Bro. Kill him with a Felstinger. Who cares, right? Who cares? Zombification here. Zomblack. Zomblack strikes again. You see how often this comes up? Felstinger with shoulder to Felstinger alone. Exactly this one damage is enough to finish it out. And I'm really happy how we performed here. So let's go next. I hope you liked the victory against the reanimation deck. I see here two problems. Against aggro, we are dead because we with his hand, because we don't have really good blockers, right? The good side here, for example, is Bankbuster can block with Razorlash because Razorlash says he cannot block, but Bankbuster can block, and Razorlash can crew it. So, but turn 2 Bankbuster, turn 3 if you draw a land, it may be some removal. I can try, right? And Jadar is amazing with Champion of Parish if you draw Champion of Parish. So let's try, let's try. How do you like my Dominaria lands, by the way? Beautiful, beautiful. I like Dominaria lands. I like Exelon and Dominaria lands. This is mostly my land base here. I favor them with a heart. And as I thought, this is a aggro deck, and this is a little bit painful. A little bit, just a little bit. But... this is not bad. I need to be more defensive, I believe, because also we didn't draw a land. Yeah, let's play the Bankbuster. And next turn, let's hope for another land, and we can Champion of Parish into Transmogrant. Opponent nothing. 2 mana open and nothing there? Okay. Sure. I'm gonna keep everything to block the Kumano. Okay, then we're gonna attack. If my opponent do it before the combat, then it's his decision, and also not exiling it. Wait, my opponent did it before combat, why? You saw the step here? Or did I saw it wrong? I thought it was a combat step. Ah, he has Graveyard Trespasser. You see? You see? I told you. Okay, third land, yes. Thank you. Champion of Parish into Jadar. Can crew the Bankbuster too. So the attack with Graveyard Trespasser is not necessary there, but this looks like a Rakdos aggro deck. And let's see turn 4 if he has Shieldred, because we have Infernal Grasp and game has a reason to give me the Infernal Grasp. Problem is now Kumano. Kumano with Kakazan is painful because they exile stuff. This is why Headless Rider will not produce tokens. Archfield, okay, but this takes out all your attacks. Eh? Really? Okay. Okay, my friend, okay. Kill you? It's bad, he drains me, this is why I'm gonna kill him now. He drains me, this is why. Can I crew and somehow create a zombie token? No. But I can attack, create another zombie token that can be crewed with a Bankbuster again, right? So we can block the Graveyard Trespasser. And if the draws will be on the board, it will drain me, right? So every time the creature I control die, he drains me for 2, or kills, damages me for 2, not drains me, I'm sorry. Drain is when I lose life, he gains life, or opposite. Opponent lose life, I gain life. Why are you doing that? He don't see my Bankbuster? Okay. Maybe I'm overthinking things, but let's see. That makes no sense to me to attack. He just saw it that I did the same. Okay. 2 mana there. Headless Rider. Sure. Let's go Headless Rider. And we gonna attack. I could attack also. I should have attack also with the thingy. Otherwise, sure. With the Headless Rider. Opponent will be at 8? No, 7. I hope this 4 damage will not cost me the game, but so far it looks good. It looks good. Looks very good. 5 mana? Swifter, okay. But this is an interesting take on some thingy. But I think Bankbuster on blocking is really powerful. This is why Bankbuster is in the deck, not only to draw cards, but also, I forgot to mention it also in the intro, to crew. We can crew it with almost any creature that we have, right? Everything has a 3-1. 3-1 here, 3-1 there, what you want to do. Okay. So, he's dead, right? I think he's dead. And I believe my opponent has something to interact with. So before he points his removal somewhere, I'm gonna cut it down. Otherwise, if I cut down now and my opponent interacts, my cut down will disappear because Monastery Swifter will grow out of the 5 power and toughness together, right, for the cut down. This is why. So we're gonna attack all, obviously. My opponent gonna most likely try to kill something and think that Monastery Swifter will kill something else. But here, obvious, I think for me, the block on Champion of Perished, or to kill Champion of Perished. But we're gonna see. This is why I keep cut down alive, by the way, just to have this interaction. So my opponent plays now something, and I cut down before the Swifter can grow. If I would have done it before, most likely he would interact before with me, or with one of my creatures, and then do something else. No, he has something, you see, like this pause, this stops, should tell you, hey, there is some interaction in the hand. Doesn't matter what it is. Lightning Strike, for example, and something. Right, so now before it grows, I will Pshoo, cut down. Otherwise, if I would do it up front, he would Lightning Strike and Monastery Swift to grow out of cut down, and cut down just disappears. It doesn't do anything because it cannot kill a creature that has bigger power and toughness. Happened to me. I learned it out of my mistake, and this is very important interaction. So this is why I keep it always in mind. Let's go next. Here we are on the draw against Ninja Dave, and let's see if Ninja Dave is on the draw again. Cut down, and Tainted. Sugar Team. It's just so good, so much value out there. Just gives me so much things, and my opponent is Azorius Control with Field of Ruins. Azorius Control. Okay. Urza discounting the Mindstone and Weakstone is a problem. This is why we're gonna do it like this. Otherwise, I would have played Archghoul and then draw a card with a token that is dying, or get a token out, or get a zombie out. I don't know if people are familiar with Archghoul of Thraben. He says another zombie you control dies. Look, doesn't matter token or not. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a zombie card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. If you don't put a card into your hand this way, you may put it into your graveyard. So we can fill our graveyard with it. My opponent with Wandering Emperor, most likely. So, very high possibility that this is a Wandering Emperor. But we're gonna see. Maybe also some counter spells. And now, Thraben, he hovers over it to not make me think that it's Wandering Emperor. Because I'm very certain that it's Wandering Emperor, but maybe, like, you know, he's hovering over it. Yes, reveal. Give it to me, my friend. End the turn. He draws card, right? So maybe next turn he expects me to attack with all his shenanigans, but 5 mana, you need to have some sweeper. Yeah, depopulate. Still gonna draws me good cards. 2. In the graveyard, yes. And oh no. This I want. I want. Double spell tainted. Yeah. I think Tainted Adversary with multiple zombies is good. This is 5 mana good investment. Theoretically could also Invoke Despair my opponent, but don't want to. And now Headless Rider into another Headless Rider. And attack. He still has Wandering Emperor, but I need to attack in this situation because my opponent is getting close to Farewell. Or is in the mana of Farewell. Here comes a Wandering Emperor. I told you, he had it before, 100%. He had it before. But these people try to hover over the Bankbuster to make you think that they will activate the Bankbuster. You know, so you attack wrong. So if I would have attacked with Jadar before, most likely he would have flashed in the Wandering Emperor to take the engine away. But this way he was forced to depopulate because I read this. I read that he had the Wandering Emperor. And it's okay, Invoke Despair is exactly here for these reasons, right? My opponent can plus or minus, whatever he wants.
We must protect the people.
Okay, so let's do it like this. We're gonna attack, maybe he has another Wandering Emperor. Because then Invoke Despair will hit his Wandering Emperor. I told you. You see? I read him like an open book, this Azorius Control, and he has also maybe Negate, maybe, but so be it, right? Maybe he draws a card now, yes, this is good for us. This is okay, we get a zombie in return. And we're gonna Invoke Despair my opponent to redraw my hand, or draw some cards, and deal with the Emperor. So I think it's pretty good, no? So let's see what... Ouch! Deathfist. Deathfist is okay.
You know, I've always...
Deathfist is okay, my friend. Waiting announcement is annoying. This is annoying. No attacks because he can grow the Bankbuster. So let's try to win against this weird control opponent. Even though he has better cards than I did, I believe there is a chance. Oh yeah, 1 mana. Yeah, Flafita, this will be good. This will be very good. Okay.
Much to consider.
The Fairy is annoying, but if we hit the right cards, the right things, and most likely my opponent gonna attack with all now to draw cards with waiting announcement. Jace?
For the sake of Phyrexia,
This is surprising.
I will keep watch.
For example, here in best of 3, right, the zombie, the graph zombie, sugar, will be sugar creature. Sure, go in. I will take it. That's okay. I will take it. Oh, Thraben, you say, huh? So let's draw a card first, see what we draw. Another land is okay. Let's play the Archghoul of Thraben. Grow our champions. And now let's play another Jadar. CC, senor. No attacks. Create another token, and I suspect my opponent has another interaction here. Another depopulate or farewell, something in this direction. And he can go farewell for creature and artifacts, for example. He will be left with waiting announcement and all the planeswalkers, and he is definitely then in upper hand. What I'm trying to do now is establish enough board dominance to survive a board wipe, but also to kill my opponent with maybe some combo. I'm not really interested in the fairies, right? The fairy is not interesting. I'm interested to have Shieldred, and I'm interested to have Felstinger maybe. He has a removal, and Thraben is a problem for him. Also, just to attack is a problem for him, because the 2/2 token will keep up the 5/5. Thraben will draw me a card because of it, or give me card selection, because I can put Blends into the graveyard and zombies into my hand. And this is, I think, a problem for my opponent. Mindstone and Vixstone on Thraben, most likely, because he's a problem for him. But he forgets that these creatures are growing too. Yes, please. Into the graveyard, the lands. We don't need so much lands here. This is like a basic Azorius Planeswalker control, right? With Bankbusters, Wedding Announcements, Mindstone, Big Stones, Urzas, Planeswalkers, powerful Planeswalkers here. Well, how many Wandering Emperor did we outplay? 2. 2 Wandering Emperors, Urzas, Depopulates, and also now with Memory Deluge. Let's see. Next, let's kill it. Okay. Creates a new one.
Knowledge is meant to be shared.
Then can minus something.
Our plans are being
Another vending announcement. Okay. Not the draw that I was hoping for, but sure, let me see. Wow. Okay. Let's draw another one. One draw earlier, Shieldred will be super good, but so far so good. Let's go after Jace. He will obviously block or something. No question, no questions asked. But we grow our Champion of Parish because of it. Okay.
I am here to learn.
Can drop for 6. Okay.
You can be made to obey.
Another Bankbuster, okay. Another Bankbuster, okay. So my opponent has also a lot of Bankbusters. Pass. Let's see if I can somehow finish out the opponent here. I don't think that this Bankbuster will give me enough possibility. I have here still 2 draws, right? And I don't have so much mana to draw everything empty. But I think to deal with the token for now is okay. To keep also his board a little bit weaker. Okay, another Sheoldred. Let's play the Sheoldred. Let's draw a card. 3 mana left theoretically. Okay. Let's do it like that. Let's crew with you. Here's another Wandering Emperor, huh? Problem? Yes. A big one? No. But let's see. Okay. Tells me that my opponent sits on a removal spell, to be honest. Like, the way he's blocking here tells me that he don't care about his creatures, right, to protect himself, because most likely he will... I'm sorry, sweep next turn. Sure. Memory Deluge is a problem. Sure. Oh, he forgets Sheoldred, huh? Don't forget, we can deal 6 damage out of nowhere. So if my opponent goes 6 or below, dead. This is dangerous for him. Really dangerous for him. He's looking for an answer for Sheoldred. Found it here, most likely. Okay.
Your victory. Surrender every last thought to Phyrexia.
Okay, he mills me. Very close, I think, because believe it or not, next turn Sheoldred. Yeah, good game.
Who's that handsome
Good game, my friend. Good game. I would say a little bit unlike, but we could have won. We could have won. I mean, my opponent played very well. I read him like an open book, but still, just too much value in his cards than in my cards. I liked it, but I believe this is a super good result for my deck to keep so long against this sort of control decks. But let's go next. Let's see. In sideboard, I promise you something. In sideboard, I would have won against him, easy, like easy sideboarding against his planeswalkers with Graph, with Duresses. Bam, give it to him. Like, what do you want to do? Farewell me, Duress, right? So after post-sideboard, I would have won this game. Pre-sideboard, he had more value in his cards than my cards, but still we delivered a really good fight, and we had the chance to win if we drew a little bit, not better, a little bit different, right? Felsinger with Sheoldred would have finished out the game really fast, believe it or not. But let's go next. And here we are on the draw again. Xuslol. Hello, my friend. Xuslol, if you're a subscriber, welcome to the beautiful game of Magic the Gathering. I'm happy you made it into the video. Looks like mono white midrange. As I said, I played against a lot of mono white midrange decks. And general mono-white decks are really popular against this mono-black zombie deck. Difficult decision, but I think a possible decision, going more aggressive with 2 double champions instead of playing Tainted Adversary. Next Archghoul of Thraben will hit the board, but my opponent don't have removal. He has exile, and this is a little bit more painful than removal, than the basic removal. So let's go with Archghoul, and let's try to increase the tempo, because as I said, he don't run normal removal. Main removal from my opponent is exile. Lie down arms, ossification, Wandering Emperor. Think action. This is why also the thing will not be good. With Jadar it will be good, the crown, but without Jadar in this situation I don't think many... Okay, this is new. I'm sorry. This is very new. Believe Lily supporting my zombies will be good.
Off you go.
It's down to 9 and losing 1 from the hive down to 8, so difficult decision from my opponent. I believe my opponent is dead, right? Do I see it right? Ah, you sneaky mouth freaker. Ah. As Wandering Emperor is hitting, obviously. 5 mana do nothing is Wandering Emperor. Yeah, let's attack all. Doesn't matter. Invoke Despair will take care of Wandering Emperor. That's good. That's half as bad as I thought. No, Bankbuster is not needed. No. Bankbuster is not needed. Yes, reveal. Get rid of some. Really? Oh no, Jadar I like. Bankbuster is card draw. If I draw a land, this is a pretty big boy here. But he also... Let's get rid of champion. That's okay, we drew already 3 of them, don't need more. Okay, Eternal Wanderer is good.
This is our enemy. I brought backup.
One card from my opponent, what do you think it is?
Don't overthink things.
Wedding Announcement is good. Wedding Announcement is a good hit. I think so. So my opponent going after Lily will mean lethal. Will mean lethal attack. Wandering Emperor, exiling it, smart decision. But still. Still attacks me. Still attacks Lily, is interesting, huh? Ah, okay.
Now you've done it.
Good draw from my opponent, good top deck.
I have got new moves to teach you.
Okay. So let's minus on your creature. And let's create a bunch of zombies. He can blink them, obviously, with the Wandering Emperor. But this is a lethal board for the next turn. Okay. But this is just creature entering the battlefield, right? Hellish Norn just prevents entering the battlefield.
My blade has no equal.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting choice.
Let your blade do the
Okay,
talking.
good draw. It's a good draw. No attacks.
You won't
No
be
attacks needed.
outsmarting me.
Can block with my zombie token and then kill Hellish Norn. Oh, jeez. What are those dupe decks? Are you serious? Okay. Okay, good top decks. Okay.
We must protect the people.
Let's see if we can also have a good top deck. Oh. It's actually okay, right? Oh, I forgot about this interaction. I obviously forgot about this interaction.
Luck favor. I've always
To placing her makes no sense because my opponent will attack with Sarah Paragon and then she's dead. But can also attack with the 2/2 with the first strike, right? So. But let's see. Can we make a comeback against this mono white mid-range deck? Or is not? But those are some amazing top decks. Some very good top decks from, I mean, Farmland of course not, but you know what I mean. Like 3 draws that all of them help him out to stay alive. It's really good, really good. So let's see where my opponent wants to point the plus counter. I would go on Hellish Norn because then she can attack. Oh, he doesn't want to.
Let your blade do the talking.
Okay. Okay. It's not what we needed. We don't draw our sexy top decks. We draw just nonsense for now. There is no artifact. Just 1 mana? Okay. 1 card. Sure, my friend, sure. What did I say about the top decks? What did I say about the top decks? This is how mono white top deck. I mean, I think we lost a little bit of tempo there. I'm not sure if I made somewhere a misplay.
Fast and strike hard.
I don't know why also my opponent don't give the Hellish Norn a +1 and then he can attack with it because she has Vigilant and I cannot death touch it. Would go much faster, and also why he don't attack with the 2/2s, but who's lore? You play as you play. I would recommend to still produce a little bit more extra. So let's see if my opponent also top deck a nice answer for our Sheoldred. No attacks. Because this is a clock. Of course he does. Of course he does. Like, if the game knows, the game knows. So there is no question asked that this game is over. Even before it began, I think. Because to draw like this in the stage of the game where every draw is game changing.
This fight.
Is really interesting. I'm not gonna say anything about the game, but sure, this is okay. Yeah, my opponent takes a little bit too long because, as I said, he can attack with 2/2s, he can attack with the 4/7, give him first strike flyer. I cannot block anyway, right? So he would have finished the game already, most likely, on this turn if he would have done it before. But I don't know, maybe he wants to produce a token army against me. This is okay. Is okay, Kuzlol. I think we saw enough of your things that you draw. And we're gonna draw next land. Look at this. Or Bankbuster, usually. Sheldred followed by Bankbuster is usually my draw. So, if this is the case, cut down. Where have you been cut down? A turn earlier. Nonetheless, we give my opponent a good game. We're gonna kill one of his token, and then we're gonna leave the game and make this short and painless. Okay. Make it short and painless, my friends. Would I recommend to craft this deck? Yes, yes. I mean, the most cards you should already have, but if you're enjoying playing zombies, and this deck performs really good. I mean, these last two games, very suspicious, very suspicious. Nonetheless, the deck is currently very positive. I think like 9-4, something like that, 9-4. So what is this, 56-57% win rate? Really good for a zombie deck, I would say. And I like a lot of synergies of it. I like the synergies with the Felstinger and the Sheldred. I like the synergies with all the zombies together. I like with the new artifact zombie is really, really cool. And against multicolor decks, and funny, again, you start recording, you don't face this sort of decks. Funny, no Grixis, no Esper legends that I used to face before, for people who were trying to climb. Yeah, against this deck, definitely the Transmore artifact zombie shines really, really much. Otherwise, this deck can go really far. I think if I tweak it a little bit, especially the mana base, I thought maybe about Mirex to add to produce some tokens, to sacrifice them to Felstinger, or also to put pressure on my opponent if needed. I think this deck can go far. And I mean, against meta decks like here, Mono White midrange, nothing against Kuzlol is okay. Play net decks as much as everybody desires, but earlier or later they get just boring. I believe, for myself, my personal opinion. Of course, to play every pattern the same. Here, interesting addition with Elish Norn, but is it really necessary in Mono White? I don't think so. Mono White midrange is on itself a really powerful archetype, and yeah. If you play some tournament, I mean, against Grixis, they don't have a lot of chance. Grixis has just too much value and too much graveyard hate on Mono White that they can do something. But against maybe the Esper Legends or something like that, it could be powerful. But nonetheless, my friends, would I recommend to craft this deck? Yes. Spend too much wildcards on it? No. If you don't have the most of the cards that I'm using here, definitely don't do it. Is this the deck much better in best of 3? Yes. Mono Black in general is, I believe, or black color in general, is a really powerful color in best of 3. Not only because, for example, creature like Sheldred is a really easy sideboard target, right? Like, people can sideboard against Sheldred really, really strong. It depends against what you're playing. Against Mono Red, they have difficulties, of course, but also even they run Rebel Salvio or other 3 mana, 5 damage to it. This is why the black color has the most playability in current standard, also in the best of 3 format, because the black color is just so powerful in the other direction. So you can go from Sheldred, who is a multi-versatile creature, to something like Sorin, who is totally opposite from Sheldred, right? So if somebody sideboard, let's say Mono White here, sideboarded Destroy Evil against me because I know, oh, he runs Sheldred, right? I put Sorin in, and bam, Destroy Evil is a dead card because we don't run any enchantments, we don't run creatures with power with toughness 4 or greater. Opponent is sitting on a dead card, right? So this is how the sideboard works. You put a Sorin here in this matchup. Sorin give it. Non-stop card engine. He don't have a direct planeswalker removal. He don't saw any. Well, he saw like Lily, I think, but he don't have any other direct thing removal. He's requiring playing his 1/1 army, and my 2/3 token in the air goes constantly in. Opponent draws Sarah Paragon. Well, guess what? Sorin has non-stop draw action, and I can draw my removal spells for your Sarah Paragon as an example, right? So black is a very powerful best of 3 color, and I think this deck will shine in best of 3. So if you're the one who is playing, maybe trying this deck in best of 3, let me know down in the comments if you played it and what is your success, or how did it treat you so far, or in best of 3 ladder, because I didn't play it in best of 3 now, but I believe I will go so as soon as I hit platinum, because in gold you get 2 ticks for 1 win regardless what you win. So best of 3 or best of 1. In platinum you get 1 tick, but in best of 3 if you win both games you get 2 ticks, right? This is why I usually like to play platinum, diamond, best of 3. Gold you just rush through. Usually with some aggro decks, you rush through, you get 2 ticks in 3 minutes, and then you are in your platinum, and then you can start playing. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you like it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Ciao.